Collision domains. On a test you might be asked how many collision domains you can see in the diagram. So the way to answer a question like this is to find out where are the intermediary network devices. In this picture we've got two hubs, right? So in this network, if these are hubs and any one of these hosts sends anything on the network, it's going to go into the hub and then it's going to be forwarded out of all ports on the hub, effectively making this type of network right here one large collision domain. So if you see hubs expand collision domains, or they make collision domains larger, right? So this is all one collision domain. So the answer to this question would be 1. But if we look at the next picture, now we have some switches here. Now switches, on the other hand, let's say this computer right here wanted to send to this computer right here. When this computer forwards that, sends that frame to the switch will look in its MAC address table, and if it has the a mapping of that particular destination MAC address in its table mapped to a port, it will forward it out the correct port, and so it'll take the frame on this frame and then send it out only one port. It won't broadcast it basically out every single interface or every single port. So with switches, each interface becomes its own collision domain. So in a sense we won't have any collisions. So switches break up collision domains, or they create new collision domains, effectively benefiting the network by having the absence of collisions. So to answer this question, how many collision domains, in this type of diagram you would just count all the links to the switch. So you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this is a collision domain between the switches, so that's 7, and then 8, 9, 10. So the answer to that question in this diagram would be 10 collision domains. Each link, each port coming off of the switch is a collision domain. Alright, let's do the next one. Okay, so routers, now all I've done is added a router in the middle. Now a router also breaks up collision domains. Alright, so it would be similar as the last one, except we would include the two links here separately between the switch and the router. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, in this diagram it's a little bit harder because what you have to do now is figure out all of these different intermediary networking devices, and you have to treat them differently. So you have to find how many hubs you have, and thanks to somebody on YouTube who sent me a comment, they pointed out that I had actually done it wrong, and so I'm doing this as a redo. So for instance, this is a hub, let's say, and this is a hub. So anything connected to the hub is all one collision domain. So these two links coming off this hub, this will be one collision domain. So I'd have to count this as 1, right? And then this hub has a printer connected to it, and then it's connected to a router, and so then this is one collision domain, right? So, and then with the switches we can just count the links, and the same thing with the router, but not when it's connected to the hub. So anyway, this is 1, 2 collision domains, 2 connections from this switch. Then this is 1 collision domain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 from the router to the switch is 10. From this router to the switch, 11. From this router to the switch, that's 12. And then 13 here, crossover cable to a server. And then this whole thing right here, these two links, is all one collision domain, so that's 14. And so my my YouTube comment that came in, the viewer was right. This is 14 collision